The Stoic Hour of Power, awakening your inner strength. Let me ask you something. Are you tired of feeling stuck? Do you ever feel like you're meant for more, yet somehow the weight of doubt, fear, and hesitation keeps pulling you back? Maybe your circumstances feel unfair. Maybe your self-doubt is louder than your courage. Or maybe your past failures whisper so loudly that you no longer trust yourself to rise again. If that sounds familiar, then you are in the right place. Because in this hour, we're not here to dream. We're here to transform. The ancient Stoics believed that every person holds within them a reservoir of untapped power. Not external riches, not fleeting luck, but the inner fortress of the mind, reason, discipline, and perspective. They taught that while you cannot control the world, you can always control how you respond to it. And when you learn to master yourself, you can walk through any storm with unshakable strength. So before we dive in, I want you to pause. Breathe deeply. Clear the clutter. For the next hour, I want you fully here. No distractions, no excuses. Just you, your mind, and the truth you've been running from. Because this could be the hour that redefines your life. The power of perspective. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. So much of our suffering doesn't come from life itself, but from the story we tell ourselves about life. We replay rejections in our head until they define us. We look at obstacles and call them walls instead of stepping stones. We tell ourselves that tomorrow will be the day we begin, yet tomorrow never arrives. The first step to transformation is this. Change the lens. You don't need a new year, a new job, or a miracle to begin again. You need a decision, one clear, bold decision that you will no longer see yourself as powerless. The Stoics called this prohairesis, your inner power of choice. The world can take your money, your relationships, even your health, but it cannot take your ability to choose how you respond. That is the battlefield where freedom is won. Ask yourself, what is one story I keep telling myself that no longer serves me? Maybe it's, I'm too late. Maybe it's, I'll never succeed. Maybe it's, I'm not enough. Whatever it is, that story is not truth. It's just a thought. And thoughts can be rewritten. The lie you've been told. Society has fed you a lie that you are incomplete until you achieve, that you must earn your worth, that only a chosen few are destined for greatness. But the Stoics rejected this. They believed every human being, by nature, possesses dignity and strength. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are simply standing at the threshold of decision. Will you waste more time waiting for permission, or will you claim the power that is already yours? Breaking the pattern. Transformation does not fail because people are weak. It fails because people repeat patterns unconsciously. Maybe you've noticed it. The cycle of procrastination, the loop of negative self-talk, the habit of running from discomfort. These patterns feel invisible because they are familiar. But Stoicism teaches us to notice, to practice awareness. Epictetus advised his students to examine their impressions carefully. Don't just say you've read philosophy, live it. In other words, don't just think about change, embody it. Break the pattern by doing the opposite of what fear has trained you to do. If your pattern is silence, speak. If your pattern is running, stay and face it. If your pattern is hiding, step into the light. This is how you disrupt cycles that have chained you for years. It's not too late. Many people believe their chance has passed. They measure themselves by timelines. By 25, I should be here. By 30, I should have this. By 40, I should be done. But life doesn't follow a calendar. It follows courage. Think of Cato the Younger, who resisted corruption in Rome, even as everything crumbled around him. Think of Marcus Aurelius, writing words of wisdom not in peace, but in the chaos of war. These men didn't wait for perfect conditions. They rose in the midst of imperfection. Your story isn't over. You may not be able to change the beginning, but you can always rewrite the ending. As long as you are breathing, you are on the battlefield. And the battle isn't lost The power of small steps. We often overestimate what we can do in a week and underestimate what we can do in a year. Real change doesn't begin with a giant leap. It begins with a single step. A Stoic doesn't wait to feel motivated. The Stoic acts, knowing that action itself breeds clarity and strength. Motivation is fickle. Discipline is eternal. Maybe your first step is waking up 1 hour earlier. Maybe it's setting a boundary with someone toxic. Maybe it's choosing silence over complaint, or choosing the gym over the couch. These small steps might seem insignificant, but brick by brick, they form a fortress. Over time, they become unshakable character. Discipline over motivation. Let's face it, if you're waiting for the perfect wave of motivation, you'll drown in excuses. The Stoics knew that feelings were unreliable guides. They trained themselves to act with reason and principle, not emotion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for?" Greatness isn't about waking up inspired every day. It's about showing up, especially on the days you don't feel like it. That's discipline. And discipline is what builds empires, books, businesses, and unbreakable lives. Letting go of what holds you down. You cannot rise while chained to the past. Some of you are carrying anger, guilt, shame, or broken identities that no longer fit. Stoicism doesn't tell you to ignore these things, it tells you to release them. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Let go, not because it was easy, but because freedom is impossible while dragging dead weight. You are not your wounds. You are your will to rise beyond them. Your environment matters. The Stoics were selective about who they spent time with, because they knew energy is contagious. You cannot grow in toxic soil. If you want to rise, surround yourself with those who sharpen you. Audit not only your relationships, but also your digital environment. Every scroll, every voice you listen to, every word you consume, it's shaping your future self. Choose wisely. Consistency is the secret. Finally, remember this. Success isn't about grand moments. It's about the quiet, daily commitment to live by principle. Stoicism is a philosophy of practice, not once in a while, but every day. Greatness is not built in a day. It is built daily. Show up consistently and watch your future bend to your will. Breaking chains and building habits that last. Let's go deeper. You discover that your perspective shapes your reality, and that one decision can set you free from years of hesitation. But now comes the real test, building the habits and systems that will carry you forward when motivation fades. Because let's be honest, motivation feels good, but it doesn't last. What lasts is discipline. What lasts is structure. What lasts is the small daily commitments that become your character, the hidden chains that keep you stuck. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Most people live in chains and they don't even realize it. Not physical chains, but invisible ones. The chain of procrastination, the chain of distraction, the chain of comparison, the chain of comfort. You might say you want freedom, success, or greatness. But the truth is, many people are too comfortable with their chains to break them. They scroll instead of study. They talk about goals instead of working on them. They stay in toxic cycles because breaking free feels harder than staying stuck. Here's the truth. You can't rise while clutching your chains. So I want you to pause and ask yourself right now, what chain have I been carrying for too long? Is it your phone eating away your focus? Is it doubt whispering that you'll fail anyway? Is it comfort convincing you that staying the same is safer than changing? Whatever it is, identify it. Because awareness is the first step toward freedom. Discipline over desire. Marcus Aurelius woke before dawn every day, not because he felt like it, but because duty demanded it. He wrote in Meditations, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting up, tell yourself, I must go to work as a human being. For what was I born to do? To lie under warm blankets? No, I was made for action." That's the heart of discipline. Doing what must be done, regardless of how you feel. The modern world sells us the opposite message. Follow your heart. Do what feels right, but feelings are fickle. Today you feel unstoppable. Tomorrow you feel weak. If you only act when you feel like it, your life will always be inconsistent. Discipline is choosing long-term greatness over short-term comfort. It's saying no to the extra hour of sleep, no to the scroll, no to the junk food because you've already said yes to a higher calling. The power of ritual. If you want to transform, don't just set goals, build rituals. A ritual is a repeated action that shapes your identity. Think about it. The Stoics journaled daily. They reflected morning and night. They practiced silence. They trained their minds as diligently as a soldier trains for war. Ask yourself, what rituals could I build that would anchor me? Morning reflection. 1 page of journaling. Daily challenge. Do one thing that scares you. Evening review. Ask yourself, did I live by my principles today? These small rituals are not about perfection. They are about alignment. Because when your daily actions match your deepest values, you build integrity, and integrity is unshakable. Guarding your attention. Seneca warned, we are not given a short life, but we make it short by wasting it. In today's world, your greatest enemy isn't lack of opportunity. It's distraction. Every notification, every scroll, every meaningless argument online, it's not just stealing your time, it's stealing your life. Ask yourself, if someone controlled your attention, do they not control your life? This is why the Stoics valued stillness, why they practiced restraint, why they chose silence over noise. Because every moment wasted in distraction is a moment you never get back. Here's the challenge. Cut one major distraction from your life this week. Just one. Delete the app. Silence the noise. Reclaim your attention, and you'll reclaim your life. Resilience through adversity. Life will test you. Count on it. The Stoics didn't pretend otherwise. Instead, they prepared. They practiced what's called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would imagine obstacles, losses, failures, not to depress themselves, but to strengthen themselves. Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, obstacles are not interruptions, they are the path. Adversity doesn't stop you, it shapes you. Every rejection is a lesson in resilience. Every failure is training for strength. Every closed door forces you to find another way, so stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Because every trial, if you let it, is a forge that makes you unbreakable. The compound effect of small wins. Change doesn't happen in an instant. It compounds over time. The Stoics knew that character is not built in a single act of greatness, but in daily repetition. One workout won't make you strong, but 100 will. One journal entry won't make you wise, but a year of reflection will. One courageous act won't change your life, but 1,000 will. The compound effect is real. Every small decision is either a brick in your fortress or a crack in your foundation. Which are you choosing today? A moment to reflect. Before we move to the next section, I want you to pause. Take a deep breath. Reflect honestly. What one habit could you build today that, if repeated daily, would transform your life a year from now? Write it down. Commit to it. And let this be the seed you plant in the soil of discipline. The call to action. Now, if you've made it this far, it means you're serious about change. And I want you to know you're not alone in this. There's a community of us walking this Stoic path together. So before we continue, I want to invite you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this message. Not just for the algorithm, but because when you spread wisdom, you multiply strength both in yourself and in others. We've uncovered the truth about change, discipline, rituals, attention, and resilience. You now know that transformation isn't about massive leaps, it's about daily wins, multiplied over time. The unshakable self-belief, identity, and the power of trusting yourself. You can master habits. You can build discipline. You can even eliminate distractions. But if deep down you still don't believe in yourself, everything will eventually collapse. Because discipline without self-trust becomes slavery. Effort without identity becomes exhaustion. So here's the truth. Your results will never rise above the story you tell yourself. If you see yourself as weak, your actions will reflect weakness. If you see yourself as capable, your actions will reflect strength. Everything begins and ends with identity. The story you tell yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In other words, you become the story you repeat. If every morning you whisper, "I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, I always fail," then your actions will bend to that belief. You'll quit earlier. You'll try less. You'll expect failure and you'll find it. But if you shift the story, everything changes. Imagine waking up and saying, "I am capable of discipline. I am worthy of success. I am stronger than my excuses." This is not about fake positivity. It's about truth. Because deep inside, you already have proof. You've survived days you thought would break you. You've overcome challenges others couldn't imagine. You've already been stronger than your doubts. So ask yourself, what story am I repeating every day? And is it helping me or hurting me? Identity shapes action. Here's a secret. Identity is stronger than motivation. If you say, "I want to quit smoking," you'll fight temptation daily. But if you say, "I am not a smoker," your actions align with who you are. If you say, "I'm trying to be disciplined," you'll struggle. But if you say, "I am a disciplined person," your habits will reflect that truth. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't say, "I'm trying to live with virtue." They said, "I am committed to virtue." That shift in language reflects a shift in identity. So stop trying, stop wanting, start becoming. Self-trust, the foundation of strength. Epictetus said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" Self-trust is built by keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say, "I'll wake up at 6 inches," and you do, you strengthen trust. Every time you say, "I'll finish this task today," and you follow through, you strengthen trust. But every time you break those promises, you weaken it. You tell yourself, "My word means nothing." The solution? Start small. Make a promise so simple you cannot fail. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Do 5 push-ups. Journal 1 sentence. And then do it consistently. Slowly, your brain will believe you again. You'll become reliable to yourself. And once you trust yourself, you can conquer anything. The courage to be misunderstood. Part of building identity is learning to stand alone. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But they cannot harm me." Not everyone will understand your path. Some will laugh at your new habits. Some will call you obsessive. Some will doubt you. But their opinion does not define your identity. Mastering emotions, turning pain into power, life will test you. Count on it. No matter who you are, no matter how disciplined you become, no matter how strong your identity grows, pain is coming. Loss is coming. Setbacks are coming. Betrayal, rejection, disappointment, failure, they are all part of the human story. The question is not if they will come. The question is, when they come, will you break or will you rise? The Stoic view of pain. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Pain in itself is rarely what destroys us. It's our interpretation of it, our emotional reaction to it, that does the damage. Think about it. 2 people go through the same hardship. One becomes bitter, resentful, broken. The other becomes wiser, stronger, unstoppable. The difference isn't the pain, it's the perspective. The Stoics taught us, pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher. Pain is the forge that shapes character. So don't run from it. Don't numb it. Don't pretend it isn't there. Instead, ask, what is this pain teaching me? The tyranny of emotion. Emotions are powerful. Anger, fear, jealousy, sadness, they can take over the mind like a storm. But here's what the Stoics understood. You are not your emotions. Epictetus reminded his students, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Think about that. You cannot always control the event, but you can always control your response. Anger comes, but you don't have to lash out. Fear rises, but you don't have to run. Sadness hits, but you don't have to collapse. You are not powerless. You are not a slave to every wave of emotion. You are the captain of your ship. And when the storm comes, you can choose whether to be tossed by the waves or to stand at the helm. The practice of pause. Here's a practical tool. When an emotion rises up, anger, fear, frustration, practice the pause. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The pause is simple. When the fire of emotion burns inside you, don't react instantly. Breathe. Step back. Observe the feeling without being consumed by it. Someone insults you? Pause before replying. Fear strikes? Pause before surrendering. Temptation comes? Pause before giving in. That tiny gap between stimulus and response, that is your freedom. That is where mastery is built, transforming pain into fuel. Imagine two men carrying heavy weights. One curses, complains, resents the burden. The other says, "This weight is building my strength." Which one grows stronger? That's how life works. Pain can crush you, or it can craft you. The choice is yours. Marcus Aurelius said it best. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Obstacles are not roadblocks, they are training grounds. Every hardship contains hidden power, if you dare to face it. Rejection? It's teaching resilience. Loss? It's teaching gratitude. Failure? It's teaching wisdom. Betrayal? It's teaching clarity of who truly belongs in your circle. Pain is not punishment. Pain is preparation. Emotional resilience in practice. So how do you train resilience? Here are 3 Stoic practices you can use daily. 1. Negative visualization. Premeditatio malorum. Every morning, imagine possible challenges, delays, rejections, failures. By preparing your mind, you reduce their power when they happen. You become unshakable because nothing surprises you. 2. Voluntary discomfort. Seneca would sleep on the floor, wear rough clothes, eat simple meals not because he had to, but to remind himself that comfort isn't necessary for happiness. Do something hard every day. Cold showers, fasting, silence. This trains you to handle discomfort without fear. 3. Daily reflection. At night, reflect. Where did I let emotion control me today? Where did I stay in control? Awareness sharpens mastery. Freedom through mastery. Here's the paradox. When you stop being a slave to emotions, you finally become free. Think about anger. When you lash out in anger, are you in control, or is anger controlling you? When you panic in fear, are you steering, or is fear at the wheel? True freedom is not doing whatever you feel. True freedom is choosing wisely, even when emotions scream at you. That's why the Stoics weren't cold or heartless, as some people think. They felt deeply, but they refused to be controlled by feelings. They chose reason, virtue, and purpose above impulse. A challenge for you. This week, I want you to practice the pause. Choose one emotion you struggle with most, maybe anger, maybe fear, maybe jealousy, and commit to catching it before it controls you. When it rises, pause, breathe, remind yourself, I am not my emotions. I am the master of my response. Even if you succeed only once out of 10 times, that is progress. And progress compounds. The call to action. If you're finding strength in this, don't keep it to yourself. Imagine how many people in your life are prisoners of their emotions, right now trapped in anger and fear and sadness. Share this with them. And while you're here, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell, because in the next part, we're going even deeper. And you won't want to miss it. The power of environment, building a circle that shapes your destiny. Show me your circle, and I'll show you your future. It's a truth as old as philosophy itself. No one becomes great in isolation, and no one stays strong in a toxic environment. The people you spend time with, the voices you listen to, The places you go, they are either lifting you higher or pulling you down. There is no neutral ground. The Stoic warning about influence, Seneca wrote, associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you are capable of improving. The process is mutual. For men learn while they teach. Translation: you cannot grow if you are constantly surrounded by the small-minded, the negative, the gossipers, the weak-willed. Their energy will infect you whether you admit it or not. We like to think we're independent, untouched by our environment. But science and philosophy agree. You become like the people you spend the most time with. Their habits rub off. Their language becomes your language. Their beliefs become your beliefs. So ask yourself honestly, who am I becoming because of the people I surround myself with? Toxic circles versus strong circles. There are two kinds of circles, those that shrink you and those that stretch you. Toxic circles look like this: friends who laugh at your goals, family who constantly remind you of your past failures, peers who encourage your bad habits instead of your growth, people who drain your energy with drama, excuses, and envy. Strong circles look like this: friends who challenge you to do better, mentors who give you wisdom instead of pity, peers who celebrate your wins and hold you accountable when you slip, people who live by example, not just empty words. Which circle are you in right now? And more importantly, which circle are you building? The courage to cut ties. This is where it gets hard. Because building a strong circle often means letting go of the weak one. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And if your environment is constantly filling your mind with negativity, gossip, and fear, how can your thoughts stay pure? Sometimes you have to walk away, not out of arrogance, not out of hatred, but out of self-respect. This doesn't mean you stop loving people. It means you stop letting them poison your growth. You can care about someone and still recognize that their path is not aligned with yours. The truth is, not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Building a fortress of influence. So how do you build an environment that fuels you? It starts with intentional design. 1. Audit your circle. Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. Do they inspire you or drain you? Do they challenge you or comfort your excuses? This list reveals your future. 2. Seek mentors. Mentors don't have to be people you meet in person. They can be authors, speakers, philosophers, teachers online. Fill your mind with voices of strength, not weakness. 3. Create accountability. Find one person who shares your values and goals. Commit to checking in weekly. Accountability multiplies discipline. 4. Shape your space. Your physical environment matters too. A cluttered desk, a messy room, a noisy workspace, they all feed distraction. Build an environment that reflects the order you want inside. The Stoic example of community. The Stoics didn't just preach isolation. They believed in community, but the right kind of community. They practiced philosophy together, trained together, and sharpened each other through dialogue. Marcus Aurelius himself was an emperor, surrounded by flatterers and manipulators. Yet he wrote daily reminders to himself to stay grounded, to avoid corruption, and to surround himself with truth. Even at the top, he knew a strong circle keeps you humble and focused. The enemy within the circle. But here's something most people forget. Sometimes, the most toxic influence is not outside, it's inside. Your own inner circle of thoughts. You can cut off toxic friends, but if you don't cut off toxic self-talk, you're still poisoned, Seneca said. You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. In other words, you waste time fearing judgment, yet live recklessly as if tomorrow is guaranteed. Your first responsibility is to master the circle within, your mind. Once that's strong, no outer influence can destroy you. A challenge for you. Here's your challenge for this week. Do an environment detox. Cut off one toxic voice. That might mean muting a social media account, saying no to a draining friend, or reducing time with a negative group. Add one empowering voice. Read a book by a Stoic. Listen to a mentor online. Join a group that pushes you to grow. Clean one space. Transform your room, your desk, or your digital workspace into a place of clarity. Small shifts in environment lead to massive shifts in destiny. The call to action. If this message has hit you, if you know it's time to reshape your circle, then don't just listen, act. And while you're at it, join this growing circle here. Hit subscribe, tap the bell, and add your voice to a community of people choosing discipline, strength, and stoic wisdom over mediocrity. And if so far the video has sparked an idea, drop it in the comments. What's one toxic influence you're ready to let go of? Your words might inspire someone else to do the same. Your environment shapes you more than you realize. Your circle, your space, your daily influences, they are either sculpting your greatness or suffocating it. The art of consistency, greatness in the daily grind. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. That's why they quit. They want instant results. They want transformation in a week, success in a month, mastery in a year. And when it doesn't happen, they give up. But greatness doesn't come in explosions. It comes in drops. A steady, relentless drip of effort that over time carves stone. The Stoic rhythm of life. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up one day and suddenly become wise. Seneca didn't write one letter and change the world. Epictetus didn't deliver one lecture and build his legacy. They lived daily discipline. They reflected, practiced, wrote, taught, failed, learned consistently, relentlessly, repeatedly. Seneca put it simply, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Consistency is not glamorous. It's not loud. It's not exciting. But it is powerful. It is the difference between dreams and reality. Why consistency beats motivation. Motivation is a spark. It ignites fast but burns out quick. Consistency is the steady flame that keeps the fire alive through storms. Think about it. One workout doesn't change your body. 1,000 do. One journal entry doesn't sharpen your mind. A year of reflection does. One disciplined act doesn't transform your character. A lifetime does. Motivation gets you started. Consistency gets you finished. The compound effect. Consistency works because of the compound effect. Small actions multiplied over time create extraordinary results. Picture two men. One chooses laziness, daily skipping workouts, overspending, wasting time. The other chooses discipline, daily small exercises, saving money, reading instead of scrolling. At first, the difference is invisible. But give it 5 years, 10 years, one is broken and bitter. The other is strong and thriving. The difference? Consistency, the enemy. All or nothing thinking. Here's why most people fail. They believe if they can't do it perfectly, they shouldn't do it at all. Missed one workout? I'm ruined. Broke one diet rule? I've failed. Skipped journaling for a week? I guess I'm not disciplined. That's not Stoicism. That's perfectionism. And perfectionism kills progress. Marcus Aurelius didn't write perfect philosophy every day. Some of his entries are messy, repetitive, even contradictory. But he kept writing. He kept showing up. And that's why his meditations still guide us centuries later. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about persistence, the Stoic practice of repetition. Epictetus taught by repeating the same truths to his students again and again. He knew wisdom isn't about hearing something once. It's about hearing it, applying it, failing, returning, applying it again. That's how strength is built. Through repetition, through falling and standing again, through enduring the boredom of routine and discovering the greatness hidden inside it. So if you feel bored on the path, good. That means you're training. That means you're being shaped. Consistency in the small things. The Stoics understood. Life is not built in grand gestures, but in small things. How you rise in the morning. How you treat a stranger. How you respond when plans fall apart. How you honor your word when no one is watching. Greatness is not a single mountain climbed. It is 1,000 steps taken in the same direction. So don't despise small beginnings. Don't mock small wins. Every small act is a seed. And in time, seeds become forests. A challenge for you. Choose one habit. Just one. Not 10, not 5 one. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's reading. Maybe it's waking up earlier. Commit to doing it daily for the next 30 days. No matter what. Rain or shine. Success or failure in other areas, this one habit stays. At the end of those 30 days, you won't just have a new habit. You'll have a new identity. You'll know, I am someone who keeps going. The freedom of routine. People think routine is boring. They think it's restrictive. But in reality, routine is freedom. When you have structure, you don't waste time deciding. You don't waste energy negotiating with yourself. You act, you move, you flow. Marcus Aurelius lived by duty, not whim. That was his freedom. He didn't waste mornings debating whether to get up, he got up. He didn't waste hours deciding whether to write, he wrote. Routine frees you from chaos. Consistency frees you from regret. The call to action. If you're serious about building consistency, join this journey fully. Hit subscribe right now, because this series is only halfway done and the lessons ahead will sharpen you even further. And while you're here, comment below. What's one small habit you're committing to for the next 30 days? Writing it publicly makes it real. And you might inspire someone else to take the same step. And of course, click like if this part spoke to you, not just for me, but as a symbol I'm showing up consistently, even here. The discipline of focus, mastering your energy in a world full of endless notifications, temptations, and obligations. Focus has become the rarest resource. Everyone wants more time, more success, more energy, but few understand that the key to all of it is the ability to direct your attention where it matters most. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Focus isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters consistently, without being pulled into the chaos around you. The modern problem? Distraction. We live in a culture that glorifies busyness. Every day your mind is bombarded. Messages, alerts, emails, social media, and people demanding your attention. But busyness is not productivity. Busyness is distraction masquerading as action. It makes you feel like you're moving forward when really you're spinning in place. The Stoics understood this. Seneca warned against letting life slip away while we are busy doing nothing of value. The first step toward mastery is admitting the truth. Your attention is finite, and where it goes, your energy follows. Energy follows focus. Your mind is like a lighthouse. Where you point it, light shines. Point it at random tasks, meaningless scrolling, other people's drama, you waste your brilliance. Point it at your craft, your growth, your meaningful goals, you create results that last. Focus is not a passive act. It is a deliberate, daily exercise. It requires saying no. It requires saying yes to what truly matters. The Stoic practice of discipline. Discipline is the bridge between intention and action. It's what transforms your goals into results. A Stoic trains not by wishing for strength, but by creating habits that reinforce it. When your mind wants distraction, you practice presence. When your body wants comfort, you embrace discomfort. When your energy wants to scatter, you redirect it to one vital pursuit. Every time you do this, your mental muscles grow. Every time you resist the pull of meaningless activity, your focus sharpens, cutting the noise. To master focus, you must eliminate unnecessary noise. Ask yourself, what are the things in my day that steal my energy without giving value in return? What people, places, or activities drain me instead of building me? What small distractions steal hours that could be devoted to my growth? Then act. Remove them. Unfollow. Decline. Delete. Silence. Turn off notifications. Build a space where your mind can breathe and your energy can flow. Your environment dictates your discipline. A cluttered desk leads to a cluttered mind. A chaotic schedule leads to chaotic results. Organize your space, simplify your commitments, and you'll create the conditions for focus. The power of single tasking. Multitasking is a myth. Science proves that when we switch attention, our productivity drops sharply. The Stoics practiced single-mindedness. Marcus Aurelius focused on his meditations. Seneca focused on his letters and philosophy. Epictetus focused on teaching and living according to reason. You cannot master your life if your mind is everywhere. Choose one task. Immerse fully. Apply the discipline of attention. Let your energy flow without interruption. Habits that build focus. Focus is a skill, and like any skill, it is built through habit. Morning ritual. Begin your day with clarity. Silent journaling or reflection primes your mind. Time blocks. Dedicate specific hours to your most important work. Protect it fiercely. Digital discipline. Limit phone use. Batch emails. Avoid endless scrolling. Micro breaks, short, intentional breaks recharge your mind instead of distracting it. Every small habit compounds. Over weeks and months, you will notice your ability to focus multiply, and with it, your results. Embracing discomfort. Discipline requires discomfort. Focus requires resisting temptation. The Stoics believe that enduring discomfort strengthens the soul. By refusing instant gratification, you train your mind to achieve the long-term reward that truly matters. When you resist the urge to check social media, when you delay pleasure to invest in growth, when you choose solitude over noise, you are practicing mastery over yourself. Discomfort is not punishment. It is training. And every moment you practice, you are leveling up. Your attention is your currency. Your attention is your most valuable asset. Treat it like money. Invest it wisely. Every minute spent on distractions is lost forever. Every hour of unfocused work is a drain on your potential. Every choice to be intentional compounds into a life of clarity, power, and achievement. You cannot control everything, but you can control where your focus goes. That is freedom. That is power. That is the essence of Stoic living. A challenge for you. For the next week, try this. 1. Identify your most important task each day. 2. Give it a full, uninterrupted hour. 3. Remove all distractions during that hour. 4. Reflect at the end of the day on what you accomplished. This is not a small challenge. In our world, it's radical. But radical action produces radical results. Reminder to subscribe and engage. If you're finding value in this series, hit that subscribe button. Also, like this video if you're committing to focus today. Comment below. What's the one thing you will give your full, uninterrupted attention to this week? Your commitment may inspire others to take the same step. Mastering focus is not about doing more. It's about doing the right things consistently. It's about protecting your attention as fiercely as your life depends on it, because in reality, it does. The world will try to steal your energy. Chaos will try to pull you in every direction. But the disciplined, focused mind becomes unstoppable. Like a lighthouse in the storm, it stands firm, unwavering, and powerful. This is your power, your choice, your responsibility. Resilience, the Stoic strength to rise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. Strength isn't born from comfort. Strength is forged in the fires of challenge. Resilience is the muscle that allows you to keep going when life seems determined to knock you down. The Stoic perspective on hardship. Life is unpredictable. It is neither fair nor guaranteed. Every Stoic philosopher understood this. Seneca reminds us, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Epictetus teaches that the events themselves are not bad. It's our judgment of them that creates suffering. Resilience begins with perspective. When life throws obstacles in your path, see them as training ground, not punishment. Each difficulty is an opportunity to strengthen your mind, refine your character, and prove your inner power. The illusion of control. Most people suffer, not because life is hard, but because they believe they can control what cannot be controlled. The Stoics say, focus only on what is within your power, your thoughts, your choices, your actions. External events, layoffs, failures, betrayal, unexpected setbacks will happen. But your response is always yours to choose. That's where your power lies. That's where resilience is born. Building the resilience mindset. Resilience is not a trait you are born with. It's a skill cultivated over time. Here's how. 1. Embrace reality. Face life as it is, not as you wish it were. Acceptance doesn't mean surrender. It means acknowledging the truth so you can respond effectively. 2. Practice voluntary discomfort. Stoics often practiced small hardships to prepare for greater challenges. Skip comfort. Take cold showers. Delay gratification. Confront fear in small doses. This strengthens mental toughness. 3. Reframe setbacks. Every failure is data. Every loss is a lesson. Ask, what can I learn? How can I grow? How will this make me stronger? 4. Focus on actions, not outcomes. You can't always control results, but you can control effort, discipline, and persistence. These are the real indicators of resilience. The power of consistent recovery. Resilience isn't only about enduring pain. It's about recovery. The Stoics understood the importance of rest, reflection, and recalibration. Take time to reflect daily. What went wrong? What can I improve? How can I face tomorrow stronger? Cultivate habits that restore your energy. Meditation, journaling, exercise, reading, and intentional solitude. Build support systems of like-minded individuals who encourage growth and resilience. Strength without recovery leads to burnout. Resilience without reflection leads to repetition of mistakes. Balance both. Self-belief under pressure. Resilience thrives on self-belief. When storms hit, you must trust yourself to navigate through them. Remember earlier, we discussed self-belief? Resilient people do not crumble because they trust in their ability to act, to adapt, to overcome. When fear and doubt arise, remind yourself, I have faced challenges before. I have survived. I am capable. I am strong. The habit of rising. Stoics practice the habit of rising, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Each day is a choice to rise above weakness, doubt, and distraction. Rise from failure. Every failure contains the seed of your next success. Don't let one loss define you. Rise from criticism. Take what is constructive, discard what is petty, and keep moving forward. Rise from fear. Fear exists to test you, not to stop you. Courage is built in those moments when you act despite fear. Resilience is the commitment to rise again and again. No matter how many times life knocks you down. Your daily Stoic ritual for resilience. 1. Morning reflection. Remind yourself of your purpose and the challenges you may face. Prepare mentally. 2. Midday check-in. Evaluate your energy and focus. Adjust where necessary. 3. Evening review. Reflect on what you learned, how you responded, and how you will grow from today. This ritual reinforces mental toughness and builds unshakable confidence in your ability to handle whatever comes next. Actionable Stoic practices. 1. Negative visualization. Imagine potential obstacles in advance. By visualizing challenges, you prepare your mind to face them calmly. 2. Journaling. Record your thoughts, fears, and victories. Reflection strengthens resilience. 3. Mindful acceptance. Don't resist reality unnecessarily. Accept what you cannot change. Act boldly on what you can. 4. Small wins. Build confidence and resilience through repeated, deliberate actions, a gym session, completing a project, helping someone. Small victories compound. Reminder to subscribe and engage. If you've made it this far, you understand the power of Stoic resilience. Don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and turn on notifications to continue growing with us. Your journey doesn't end with this video. Let's continue building strength, clarity, and unshakable resolve together. Comment below. What is the biggest challenge you've faced recently, and how will you apply Stoic resilience to rise above it? Share your answer. Your story could inspire someone else to take action today. Closing thoughts on resilience. Resilience is more than enduring. It's thriving despite adversity. It's the knowledge that no external event can dictate your inner state. It's the unwavering commitment to act with purpose, courage, and discipline regardless of circumstances. When you cultivate resilience, you gain freedom. Freedom from fear, from self-doubt, from paralysis. You become like a mountain unmoved by storms, yet steadfast and enduring. Life will always challenge you. People will let you down. Circumstances will betray expectations. But the resilient mind, the Stoic mind, it rises always. Your Stoic takeaway. You control your thoughts and actions, not events. Discipline and focus build power. Let go of what drains you. Face discomfort as training. Rise again, always. By embodying these principles, you step into a life defined not by fear or circumstance, but by courage, wisdom, and unstoppable action. Remember, this is your life, your story, your power, and the moment to rise is now.